I hate writing sometimes. I have to sit here and not move. All I get to play with is this pen and this paper. I have stupid ideas. The assignment is rarely clear. It's lonely. It's hard. On days like today, I think to myself, why am I doing this to myself? I'll do anything, I promise. Anything but writing. It's kind of problematic though, isn't it, if you're a writer? But there are times when the most helpful thing we can do for our writing is to do anything but writing. I'm serious, and this video is about why stepping away from your writing could be the best thing you could do for it. I so don't want to do any writing this morning that I'm going to make a video about not doing writing. That's procrastination God mode right there. Oh, and at the end I'll share some details about a 14-day writing challenge in case you want some inspiration for your own writing. Let's go! It's weird, isn't it? Not wanting to do something you supposedly actually want to do. Maybe it's like working out. Ooh, yeah, great, I can't wait to feel uncomfortable and out of breath and straining, yippee hooray. Mostly I work out because of the satisfaction I get having done it, and occasionally I'll enjoy the process. Why is it there are days where I show up to write and my heart just sinks? Because I just don't feel like it, okay? That's the stroppy answer you'd get from me in the moment, but that doesn't really help us understand what's going on, does it? We all have off days. Sometimes it feels like hard work. Days where we don't feel creative, where we're stressed out by work or family, where we find it difficult to get motivated. Maybe writing something we have to do in our day jobs and it's hard to switch mode and do our own creative stuff. We might be dealing with disruption to our home or our lives. We might find our health and wellness impacted. Taking a moment to call all of that out helps move beyond the vague idea of, I don't want to do this, to seeing all of this in the bigger context of your life. Ask yourself the question, what do I feel is in the way of my writing? I'm going to answer that question for myself inside a plank. Okay. So what is in the way of my writing today? Oh, jeez. I didn't sleep very well, got a bit of a headache. I don't know what I'm supposed to be pointing myself at. It all just feels a bit open. A bit worried about money and stuff at the moment. I've got a video to do and a newsletter to write. What else? I'm not feeling very confident in my abilities as a writer today. Okay, stop. I was going to do push-ups, but there's no way I could have done that. There's got to be better choices than either this, I'm a writer right now, I'm writing, or that. A little bit of discomfort is fine, but life is too short to be miserable. If sitting down to write makes you want to weep, then just walk away. Step away from the desk, step away from the laptop, step away from the papyrus, step away and just keep walking. Accept that maybe it's not the best day to do some writing, but it's the perfect day to be outdoors, and things will get better. Ask yourself, what is it that stops me walking away from writing forever? Occasionally I'll write something and maybe I'll read it back and go, I can't believe I wrote that. It's a non-judgmental space where I get to think and express what I want. I don't need money to write, and I don't need other people or a crew. It's just for me. It would make me sad if I gave up writing. I couldn't walk away from writing because I make myself laugh with what I write sometimes. It's like tickling yourself, but I am hilarious. I'd miss too much seeing how other people react, and that's like the biggest reason of all to do it, I think, isn't it? We've all got this stuff inside us that, you know, we want to be heard and understood and appreciated, and that's what happens when you write it down and turn it into something that someone else can experience. It's just part of me, and it's not like, oh, I can't learn some new tricks. It's just, yeah, it's part of, it's like breathing. There's quite a lot of reasons there, really, isn't there? There's what happens on the page, and then there's what happens off the page. Off the page is, well, that's like most of your life, right? Whatever is happening there is going to affect your writing. How can it not? It's intrinsically linked, what happens on the page and what happens off the page, because at the middle of all of that is you. Everything you're doing in life, you're still a writer. You don't stop becoming a writer the second your pen leaves the paper. So if there is a problem on the page, then maybe it's best to look for solutions off the page. I think a good analogy here is the sleep thing. I've had periods in my life where I've had really bad sleep, and sought a lot of advice about how to improve that. Things like sleep hygiene, not having screens on before bed, giving yourself time to wind down, or not having caffeine in the day. And it strikes me all of that advice is about stuff that's happening away from bed and away from sleep. The advice isn't go to bed, and if you can't sleep then try harder. But that's exactly what we do about writing. This is really hard when I sit down to do it, so I must try harder. And what happens when you try to sleep? You can't. And I think it's the same with writing as well. To continue the analogy, not being able to sleep well is often symptomatic about things going on outside of the sleeping experience, the rest of life. And I think that's true as well about like having chronic inability to write. It usually means there's some other things going on off the page. And if we've asked ourselves that question about what is getting in the way of my writing, then that's not going to be a surprise to us. The blockers to us enjoying and feeling motivated to write will come and go, but what remains is the ability to resource ourselves so that when we show up to write, we're in a good place to do it. What could you surround the page with that would help your writing? What helps off the page? Having good sleep definitely helps. Definitely feel better if I'm exercising. Sunlight in the day, being outdoors, that all helps. I feel much better when I'm spending time with people who I feel inspired by and safe with, hanging out with friends. I feel more juiced up when I'm getting inspired by other people's work, going to see shows or listening to music. Go to galleries and stuff like that. Cup of tea, that helps. It helps if I'm not asking myself to do too much in life, definitely. If I feel stressed that I've got a billion things to do after doing writing, then my brain gets pulled into that. It definitely helps me to be writing in the mornings. Less chance for the world to grab my attention. One of the hardest things to do is to return to something you've stopped doing. Life happens, we get derailed, and then our return might get prolonged with thoughts of like, will I still be able to do it anymore if I go back? Or what's an extra day, or week, or month? In meditation, there's the idea that as much as being present matters, maybe what matters more is the capacity to come back to being present, to return. Continual return is what makes a practice. I've been curious to know, what is the MVP, the minimum viable practice? How do I go about writing regularly that feels sustainable? I think of it as a thread that I want to keep hold of, this writing practice. So ask yourself, how do I want to weave that thread into my life? What could I do come rain or shine? For me, at the moment, that looks like writing for 21 minutes every morning. There's a reason for that. And I've found that that is sustainable. That generally is enough to help me keep hold of the thread. I try to remember that in my daily writing, I can write as badly as I need to. It doesn't matter. No one else is going to see it. If it turns up something that's useful, then I can rework it later. And I think that makes a huge difference to being able to feel lighter and more playful with stuff instead of thinking this needs to be perfect straight away. Well, that's better. Having had some time outside, I'm feeling a bit more refreshed. Is it procrastination? Yes, it is, but sometimes you've just got to do anything but the writing so that you can get on with the writing. It's 2:45, a little bit later than the morning practice that I normally do for this creative writing, but we're going to get into it. Hopefully there's been some useful stuff there for you to think about when you want to do anything but writing, and maybe some of the value of stepping away so you can come back again, because coming back to the page and enjoying it is what it's all about. Now, I've been feeling quite unfocused in my morning writing recently, and what helps when I'm in that space is a few writing prompts to get the juices flowing. And to help with that, I've bundled together 14 writing prompts to help me through the next couple of weeks. If you're looking for a little inspiration to kickstart your writing, then download the writing challenge. I'll include the link in the description below. I'm going to start on the first one. I write for 21 minutes at a time because it's what my timer on my watch is set to, and I can't be bothered to change it. You're not going to watch me do this, are you? I wrote it, it made me laugh, and also it's not that good. But it doesn't matter, because I've done it. I showed up, and now I'm going to go do something else.